And now I know. But it sounds like, and this is where I springboard a little bit, talking about the debriefing and figuring things out. As we move forward from the old war to like the new war, it kind of sounds like that's what you're doing for TACP, is you're looking at things holistically, poking holes in it, soft, conventional, whatever, it doesn't really matter, trying to move forward, the whole thing forward into the future and figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and the best way to get these things done. And so can you talk a little bit about, it's a rough time for everybody. We're all trying to figure out this near peer great power competition, what we're all going to be doing. Where's TACP going with that? Or where would you like to see TACP go with that?
So let's talk about great power competition first, to set the battlefield. Great power competition is we're facing an enemy that is in line and in lockstep with the advances that we're making. So they create a problem, right? So General Brown said, let's have a conversation on the uncomfortableness. And that's uncomfortable to think about, that we're facing an enemy that's in lockstep with us, whether it's technology, military-wise, political, economic, whatever. Throw the DIME acronym at it, like that's who we face. So having that uncomfortable conversation is like, where's our status of our force? And when I say status of our force, I'm talking about the TACP community. So I need to put that up on the board first. So I whiteboard everything I do. And first thing I do is I put TACP. What is the status of the force for TACP, and what are we providing to the warfighter? And if you look at our mission statement and the stuff that we just talked about, it is that combat enabler to the Army or ground force. It could be the Marines or whoever, but we're that combat enabler for that ground force. So we're kind of one-dimensional-ish, if you want. But we bring a lot of capabilities to the battlefield that could spread across the spectrum. So, and when you talk about great power competition, you think about the areas that we may have problems in. Those are the areas that now I start writing up on the board. So what are the tactical problems that the Air Force as a whole is seeing, and what are they trying to solve? And then I write down the TACP capabilities on the board, and what kind of capabilities do we bring to the fight that can start either mitigating or solving some of these problems. So TACP in its nature is a command and control element. That's that liaison piece that we talked about. That's that communication piece, all those things. That's that element of TACP that solve problems in the Air Force fight. So leveraging the command and control and being a part of the TAC C2 players for the Air Force can help start solving some of those gaps and problems that we see. And it's just basically transcending our capabilities from one spectrum of war to the other. The way I call it is you have a war timeline, the Alpha Omega war timeline, and that Alpha Omega war timeline right now, we're sort of in the middle to the Omega. But our capabilities say that we're just not that. We can do Alpha to Omega based on the capabilities we bring to the battlefield. We see it now. We have people. I have one of my graduates who is a patch in Europe, and they're doing that now. So it isn't a thing that we think we can do it. It's something that we know we can do, and we're showing that we can do it. And people are happy. They want to see it. I think the problem lies into how do we sell it? How does transitions happen between phases of war? So those are little roadblocks that we have in the way that we need to start thinking about and doing. But it does push to the table of what does the TACP look like in the next 5 years. So what does TACP, how does our force design, does it affect it? Does it need to be changed? And that change, how does that change look? Especially when you start talking about like all of the things that are coming down the pipe that we have to change. A lot of people are scared of change. They don't want to change. But change is going to happen because the evolution of career fields, the evolution of the military, technology has forced a huge evolution in how we do business throughout all career fields in the military. And we need to take a serious look at that and how we can apply that and not only, make our community the best fit for the Army, but also how do we make it a good fit for the Air Force and start helping dad out solve some problems before we go help mom out.
But you're not talking about TACP. I mean, there's still going to be the JTAC aspect of it, but with that C2, so we're talking integration of ISR assets, maybe some EW, some space, that kind of thing.
So if you look at command and control, like look at what the ASOC does. So the ASOC, which is in the ASOS, they take the proportionate from the JFAC and they take that proportionate and allocation and they get that out to the maneuvering elements. And it is, they're doing routing and safety of flight. They're providing AO updates. They're providing possible targets that may be coming in early. So the aircraft is up to speed and ready to go. So taking that aspect of it and that communications line that we have and making it more robust to be able to say, this is really no different in doing it for the Army and pushing CAS assets around than it is for the Air Force and pushing counter-air assets around. It's just a different employment, a different style. And really, we're just extending that link that is right now marginalized because of the enemy. So we're extending that link. We're doing even if you look at like the different things that are happening around the world, whether it's, in the Pacific or in Europe or in Africa, like the command and control elements is like, that's the focal point in the belly button of all operations. And to be able to extend that network just enhances your capabilities when it comes to fighting out there, especially when you are giving possible threats that keep you from doing the things that you want to do.
So is this change still in theory, or are you guys is this the direction you're moving out, or are we already there?
It's a dangerous question.
Yeah, I know. And by no means are we holding you to this.
Yeah. I would say it's more in theory. I would say it's in practice. Put it that way. It's our future of being able to give back to the Air Force. And I think that's a huge thing. We have a very uncomfortable problem set to have to solve. And this is the way we can get after it and help out our bros who are doing other jobs to make them successful and to make them lethal the way they need to be lethal. But I don't think in any way, shape, or form it takes away from our capabilities that we give the Army. I just think it's a way that we employ our capabilities differently, and it's really showing that in the different concepts that are out there, the different exercises that are going on, being able to show that and to be able to go on. Right now, we got our roadmap up for 2-letter chords, so there's going to be a lot of pushback on that, which is awesome because we need to hear more feedback in order to get it right. I think we don't want to speed because we need to make it right so it's a lasting effect and not just a temporary effect. So as things move along, there's a lot of things going on, practices, whether it's in exercises and things like that, to other stuff that happening.
I think this is important for the people out there that are listening. The one of the reasons I think that we bring in the types of people into our career fields that we do is so that when they have an opportunity, they see an opportunity to do something and move forward the right way. They're not held back, or they don't think that they can't do it. So I think we find ourselves in this situation a lot where we put things into practice because we have flexibility at the tactical level. But what everybody doesn't see is that to formalize those processes and move it forward into the future, and on paper, so to speak. That's kind of where I think I'm not going to say we miss the mark sometimes, but it's a hard process to get through after that, and then to make everybody understand, because like it's easy for us. Like if I see a guy at the tactical level, one of my guys doing something, I'm like, that's definitely the way we should do this. And then trying to formalize that process and get it through all the wickets and all the coordinations, it takes time. But our people definitely step out there and start practicing, moving forward into the future. I think before the paperwork catches up.